everybody, how you doing? Joseph Tedisco here, acting like a business, and as always, it's just a thought. So today I want to talk about background work, background actors. Somebody had asked me, how do you make the transition from background to principal, co-starring, speaking roles? Um, well, it's not an easy task, that's for sure. But first off, let me back it up and say that there's nothing wrong in doing background. I mean, it has its place, it has its needs, and for some, it's very fulfilling. And if that's what you choose to do, there is absolutely nothing wrong in doing background actors. And there's a lot of myths that come along with being a background actor or doing background work, and I'm going to explore some of them a little bit further on. But first, I want to say that there's pretty much two types of background actors. The first one is the actor who's been doing it for a while, and they're very comfortable in doing background work. They really don't have the drive or the desire to pursue the speaking roles. The background is their main focal point of making money, making income, and you can make a great deal of money. Well, not a great deal of money, but you can make a nice sizable amount of money if you're fortunate enough to work a lot. Um, the second one is the background actor who's there because they want to learn a little bit about the business on set. They want to see how the cameras work. They want to see what the language, the lingo is. And if you're smart enough, you can watch the principal actors and get a little insight as to how they work. And sometimes it can be very informative and very helpful to you in your pursuit of moving on to maybe some co-starring roles. Now, doing background work, look, I did background work for about 4 or 5 years in the mid 90s. I made a decent amount of money. I made my benefits. I made my pension credits. I made my health insurance, and certainly you can earn enough to get your unemployment insurance, which will help you um, in those down times when you're not working. So people can make $20,000, $30,000 a year doing background work, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they choose to do, and that's what they go after. And again, that's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong in that. If that's what you want. Now, the second type, as I explained, is the actor who's on set to try and get an education, get a little idea of what's going on, get a little exposure, a little experience on set with the cameras, with the crew, see what everything is, how everything's working. But you should really pay attention if you're fortunate enough to be on the set when the principal actors are on set. You can learn a lot. Okay, you can pick up things. It's just such a valuable opportunity for you to learn. Now, we've heard that, oh, if you do background, you're going to get blacklisted as a background actor. You're going to get listed and they're not going to call you in for speaking roles. There's nothing more away uh, from that than being true than I could actually express. I mean, look, I worked on The Sopranos, and right before I got booked on The Sopranos as a co-star, I did 2 or 3 episodes background on The Sopranos that didn't mean anything. It also happened to me with Law and Order. I booked Law and Order after I did quite a few. I used to have cop uniforms. So I did a lot of background for Law and Order. I was on there all the time, all 3 of them. It's when all 3 were running: Special Victims, Law and Order, and Criminal Intent. So for me, anyway, my experience is that no, that's not true. I overcame that, and it wasn't a problem for me. Nor was I ever told that. Well, I was once, but I'm going to get into that in a second. But so I mean, just think about this. So what we think is that there's casting people and producers and directors have people watching TV to see who's doing background work and make a list. Don't ever bring these people in. It's just so ludicrous. It's just so comical to think about it. They don't do that. Look, the only time you'll have a problem, as I was saying, that there's one time when it does create a problem. It did happen to me. Is when you get featured as an extra on an episodic. That's a TV show. It could create a problem. I had just signed with my very first agent. I was happy as, I mean, it was just great, a great feeling. And I booked a speaking role on Law and Order, and had gotten called for Criminal Intent, Law and Order Criminal Intent, to come in and um, be a featured extra. Okay, this is when I was making the turn. I was crossing over from the background. Very hard to do. You don't want to give it up. because there's money there. But anyway, so I did it, and I was featured. The guy was playing the sidekick of this guy who was buying stolen or selling stolen jewels, and he was supposed to pick up the jewel, with the loop in his eye, and look, and he couldn't hold it. It kept popping all over the place. So the director turned to me and he said, "Joe, do you think you can do this?" And of course, you're going to say, "Oh, yeah, sure, I can do it." And I did it. And I was featured 2 or 3 times, really, really just me, and my agent was trying to get me in for, naturally, at those times they play roles, but they're co-starring roles today. And they told her that I was already featured and that they couldn't use me for the season. Well, she called me up and oh my God, boy, oh boy. And she made sense. She said, "Listen, if that's the work you want to do, you don't need me. Now you can't work on that show for at least a season." And it's true. If they want to keep that continuity of the characters through the season. They won't call people back twice unless it's the same character. So that is the only time when they won't, where it works against you doing background work. And I was featured and I understood. And at that point I said, "You're right, never do it again." And I never did it again. Well, I did, but that's another story for another time. But that's the only time you can get into trouble. Now, doing background on film, it's a one-shot deal. If you didn't book a role, well, then it's not going to come back again and book you again, or give you the opportunity to book a speaking role. So doing that is more, it's less harmful than doing the episodics, okay? But you still have to be careful, because what happens is, if you're doing the background work and you get called, especially if you have an agent or a manager, they call you up and they say, "I got an audition for you tomorrow." You can't tell them, "I'm doing background work tomorrow." They will go nuts. They'll go nuts on you. Not because you're doing background work, but because they're trying to ignore the phone call. It's probably for you, but I'm not picking up. Because they're trying to make money, and you getting booked is how they make their money. So don't get yourself caught up in that stuff, okay? If you want to do the background work for the film, okay, that's fine. Do it. But if you get called for an audition, you better call up the casting for the background and say, "Listen, I have to cancel. I don't care what you say, what you do, but you have to cancel." Because that agent will only allow you to back out a small amount of times before they get sick and tired. If they need to make money. The only way they can make money is if you work. Okay? So understand that. So what happens is you get what you ask for. If you ask for the background work and you pursue the background work, that's what you're going to get. So what you have to do is, when you start to cross over, you got to pursue the speaking roles, the day player roles, the low budget films where you can get a meaty role, maybe get something on film for yourself. You have to be cognizant that it's more important than doing the background work. You have to make that decision and you have to cut it as quickly as possible. It is not easy. It is not easy. Believe me, I know. I went through it. It took me months before I actually purged it from my system. Okay? So background work, that's how you make the transition. And usually they say, "Well, when will I know?" Usually it will tell you when to get out. You'll know when you know. But when you have an agent, be careful of telling them you're doing background work, because they don't want that conflict. They don't want to hear you can't do something. "Oh, can you get down there today? Joe, can you get down there today? They want to see you at 4 o'clock. "Oh, I can't. I'm on set with, doing background work." They'll go nuts. They don't want to hear that. Nor should they. And they're right. You got to stop that. Okay? So that's where we are with the background work. If it's something you do and something you like and something you're good at, and you're making a decent amount of money on it, then continue to do it. By all means, there's nothing wrong in it. But if you want to make that transition, be aware of when that has to happen, how it has to happen, and what you have to do to make it happen. Okay? So anyway, that's it. And that's a wrap. And I'll catch you people next time. Again, if you want to write a note or a comment or ask me a question, if you want my opinion on things, because that's all it is. It's an opinion, once again. Put a little note, inbox me, or just put a little note on my Facebook page, Acting Like a Business. You can also view past videos on the business. And maybe I can entertain or help you entertain a question or help you figure something out. By all means, I'll do my best. I don't have all the answers or the solutions. I just know what I know. And you don't know until you know, but some things I know. All right, everybody, that's a wrap.